All right, it's a new year. As we get closer to the All-Star break, there are quite a few NBA teams that I've seen so far play some great basketball this season. Right at the beginning, I had made a power rankings list of the best teams that I said would have a chance to win the NBA championship, and I got a majority of them right. So let's talk about it. I'll go over each one that is the top 3 seed in both the East and Western Conference at the moment and explain to you guys the odds of them getting to the NBA Finals and winning the championship. First off with the West, the Denver Nuggets can score in bunches. As of right now, they are averaging 116 points per game on highly efficient shooting, being one of 2 teams in the entire league that is shooting 50% from the field. I mean, that is crazy. And what I love most about the Nuggets is how there's consistent help around Jokic, having 7 double-digit scorers like Highland, Caldwell Pope, Jamal Murray, Gordon, Porter, and Bruce Brown. I mean, man, this is what I call firepower. Being able to create their own shots and take the pressure off their superstar will be pivotal come playoffs. Nuggets have proven themselves to beat the top teams in the NBA, as yesterday they had a dominant win over the Boston Celtics at home. This is the best year for Jokic to get that ring in my opinion, as the 2-time MVP looks to put the rest of the NBA on notice. Next up, we have the New Orleans Pelicans and the Memphis Grizzlies. Now both of these 2 teams are very young, both having superstars in Ja Morant and Zion Williamson, who featured in the same draft class back in 2019. They have both taken the league over since, and Ja Morant has had more consistent success as his team has made it to a top seed in the Western Conference before and going to the conference semifinals. Meanwhile, Zion has suffered injuries lately, only appearing in about 40% of his career games and missed out on all of last season due to a Jones fracture in his right foot. But with that being said, I believe that Zion is the scariest of the 2. Here's why. Because although Ja Morant is better and what I get from him, I get on a daily basis, but a fully healthy Zion Williamson with the Pelicans being able to defend at each position. Also, as a team, they rank top 10 in defensive rebounding while top 2 in steals per game. That tells me that the team itself is more feisty and a nag to deal with. Zion is a huge freak of nature who is shooting an unbelievable 60% from the field as of now. With that being said, the Memphis Grizzlies did beat the Pelicans recently, but don't think that they are pushovers, and I won't be surprised if the 2 teams end up meeting again come postseason, and I will definitely have my popcorn ready for that. Also, as an honorable mention, the Dallas Mavericks. Let us not forget that this very team made it to the conference finals last year, definitely having proven themselves to be contenders with Luka holding down the torch. But let's be honest, their current formula is a disaster, because while yes, you have Luka playing out of his damn mind, averaging an absurd 34 points per game, carrying them heavy, it makes the offense way too predictable come postseason. Teams will just send unlimited double teams and force the ball out of his hands, and it will come down to other players to create those shots. Christian Woods is the only ones that I can see being able to do this, as Tim Hardaway Jr. and Spencer Dinwiddie are just not consistent enough. If the Mavericks want to show the world that their run last year was not a fluke, players have to be able to step up and help Luka. Now on to the East squad. There are several teams like the 76ers and Pacers who can make noise, but I will have to see as the season progresses. Then it is looking like a 3-way horse race in the conference. The Milwaukee Bucks are a very balanced team, built on a solid philosophy on defending the ball and playing to their strengths. In my opinion, will be a top contender every year. With Giannis as their leader, he's just too good and too dominant. And what is noticeable about them is that the Bucks are able to rotate out 7 to 8 players deep who are all good, just holding it down, because once Chris Middleton comes back, this team will be a nightmare matchup for whoever has to face them come postseason. But there is one team that looks to be the Bucks' kryptonite. That very same team eliminated them last year in the playoffs and beaten them so far this season, and that is the Boston Celtics. Now I'll admit, before the season started, I really was stuck on ranking this team in my top 5 because I didn't know how much of an impact losing their head coach for the season would be. I even stated that they can either lie down as a middle of the pack team or step their game up and galvanize behind each other after losing last year's finals. But man, Jason Tatum must have tuned out all of his haters this past offseason and told all of you to shut the fuck up, because he is playing out of his damn mind, averaging a career high 30 points per game, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, Tatum has decided to play free of worries and just do him. And I love that. Regardless on what y'all say, the Celtics can make it back to the NBA Finals again and avenge their previous loss. I wouldn't say it will happen easily, but they have beaten the top teams currently while being awfully inconsistent at times in the playoffs. Jaylen Brown is also scoring a career high. Better guard play from the additions of Brogdon, and they still have their defensive anchors in Marcus Smart and Robert Williams. So make no mistake, the Leprechauns are here to stay for a while, squad, and they aren't going nowhere. And that takes us to the hottest team right now in the league. The one team finally putting their stamp on everybody, the Brooklyn Nets. I've talked extensively on them in the preseason and ranked them in my top 5 regardless on who I thought was going to be on their roster and the drama surrounding solely because of their talent at the top. Kevin Durant along with Kyrie Irving is a lethal combination when healthy. We just really needed to see it pan out because honestly, a lot of this change comes from the fact that the team is just playing much better defensively, especially under the new coach Jacques Vaughn. Under Steve Nash, before he was fired, the Nets didn't have any cohesion, no commitment to even trying to play the other side of the basketball, and were losing too many games. Under Vaughn, they have won 22 of their last 28 games while currently being on an amazing 12-game winning streak after just ragdolling the shit out of the Spurs. My goodness. Ben Simmons, whose numbers are overall down for his career, but he is starting to make more of an impact without getting in the way of others. Everything is clicking for this team, squad. We have to respect the Nets as a top threat to reaching the NBA Finals this year. Having not one but 2 players who can command double teams when hot is just an absolute nightmare for other NBA teams. Let's see how far they can take this momentum this season. What do you think though? Did I list all the top contenders for the title this year? Or is there one or a few teams that I missed out on? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you for the support as always, squad. We just hit another new milestone in 300 subscribers. Amazing! Make sure to check out the channel online as I do random gift card reveals for the community, and until then, keep it real. I'll catch you all later.